Well, I was appalled that the sheriff's office would release a press release, in fact, go out of their way to say that Paige has been fired when we haven't even had an opportunity yet to answer the allegations through the proper union grievance procedures, let alone file any kind of response. In fact, I haven't even seen all the evidence that they supposedly are basing this firing on. So the press release in itself is a violation of Paige's constitutional right to privacy in her personnel records. And her very firing, in fact, is improper. She denies these allegations. We deny every one of them in every way. They are trumped up political vendetta designed to punish Paige for her support of Josh Clark. And we're prepared to prove that in a court of law. I haven't had a chance to file yet because, as I say, really the process is ongoing, and the Sheriff's Department has not allowed Paige to really defend herself properly. But we will be in court, and we will prove that these allegations are false.
What is the best evidence that you have in your handbook here for defending Paige and pointing out that it's a politically motivated firing?
You know, and John, I can't get into all the details, partly because it's too complex, and partly because I don't want to stoop to the sheriff's level and try this case in the media. That's not the proper way to do it. The proper way to do it is to make an allegation, notify the opposing party that you're making an allegation, give them a real opportunity to respond. So I'm not going to do what the sheriff has done and try this in the media. But I'll try and say what I can. But essentially, our proof is that they don't have any proof. You know, if you're going to fire somebody, you have to have a good reason. And the Sheriff's Department doesn't have any good reason. Paige is highly educated. She's been highly decorated. She hasn't had any kind of disciplinary problem in the Sheriff's office whatsoever until literally the day T.J. McDermott, well, I guess even before when he removed her from the PIO position. But you know, ever since then, they've made allegations against her, they being the sheriff and the undersheriff, that are utterly unsupported and utterly false. So that's really all I can say.
Now, in all fairness, obviously you are her attorney, and we would expect you to be a strong advocate for her position and what's going on with her. However, there are two sides to every story, and so hopefully at some point we'll be able to get the sheriff on or someone who will be able to speak to their side of the story. If the lines are open, I mean, if they want to do that, they're certainly welcome to do so. We also, of course, have filed our story on our website at newstalkkgvo.com. You can listen to it and read it there. And hopefully what we're trying to do as journalists is present two sides to the story and let people sort out the facts for themselves.
You bet. And that's why, Peter, I'm eager to get this thing into a public court of law where we can file the full story in proper documents, and they can file their full response in proper documents, and the public can know what's going on in the sheriff's office. But I'll say this, the public doesn't really know what's going on in the sheriff's office when the sheriff's office cherry picks a few facts and chooses to, without any warning to us, to put this out in their limited version out in public.
Now, let me ask you this. When you talk about going to a court of law, are you talking about a jury trial, or would this be a civil case with a judge, or how would that work?
This would be a civil case, probably with a jury.
With a jury, okay. So a jury would have to decide. All right. And I know that in the last couple of years, our present sheriff was part of an action against the former sheriff in which they won a significant settlement from the Human Rights Commission. So
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I wanted to read a little bit of the employee termination that was sent out, the press release that the press got before they.
Why don't you hang on to that for a
wrote
second?
It out for everybody else.
We need to take a quick commercial break. Josh, can you hang with us for a minute?
You bet.
Okay, we'll be right back. 721-1290 is our number. We're coming right back after this. And we're back on Talkback. 721-1290 is our number, and Josh Van de Wettering joining us on the telephone this morning, talking about the case that is going to be ongoing here. I imagine, I'm not sure. Is there a date yet that you've had a chance to talk about with your client yet?
No. As a matter of fact, my client was fired only a week ago, yesterday, and then literally a week ago today, her father died.
Oh, okay.
So she's had to return home to, of course, handle those affairs and to be with their family. So I haven't had a chance to discuss
Sure.
exactly where we're going and what the lawsuit's going to look like.
Okay.
And, of course, this little press release doesn't help.
Right. So
you were mentioning that the
Yeah.
press release, there were some violations in it. I wanted to read a paragraph or so out of it so the public can get what we're talking about, okay? This is from the press release that was sent out to Peter and I yesterday. Quote, Deputy Pavallone was terminated on April 13th, 2015 for conduct disclosed in statements made during an internal investigation into the February 2015 arrest of a co-worker. The sheriff and county attorney's offices have determined her ability to serve as a witness in the criminal justice system has been compromised by her actions, and the county attorney has placed Deputy Pavallone's name on a, quote, Brady list, end quote. A Brady list means there is evidence affecting the credibility of law enforcement officer as a witness because they knowingly lied in an official capacity. So my question to you about this press release, Mr. Van de Wettering, is if it's the sheriff's office and the political infighting that we all know has been there in the past and might still be there now, if that's the issue, is the county attorney's office also involved? Because apparently they're the ones that put her on the Brady list.
I think that's very possible, and I think a lawsuit against the sheriff's office may well probably will include some allegations against the county attorney's office for that very reason. You know, the fact is Paige did not lie during that investigation. They interpret it that way, but they're false. We can demonstrate that, and by not only putting her on this so-called Brady list, and I will add I've never heard in my career of a prosecutor's office.
I had not heard of that either.
Brady list.
Yeah.
But
I've heard of the Brady Law, which is a gun law. But yeah.
They've defamed Paige, and the county attorney is part of that.
Can you tell us? We're lost a little bit in the vagaries. I think a lot of people are. This arrest that they're referring to back in February. Can you give us more about?
I can't tell you, John, and I'm sorry about that because
there's privacy issues with the other
this
party.
other person has rights too.
Yeah.
You know, it's just another example of how outrageous it is for the sheriff's office to put this out there with a few tantalizing pieces, but nobody else is in a position to tell the whole story.
And Josh,
that's why I want to get to court. When I file a complaint, I can lay the whole story out.
Yeah, Josh, we're out of time for this segment. I appreciate you being on, and we hope that as things go on, that we'll be able to get both sides out and let folks make up their own minds.
I hope so too. That's the plan, and I appreciate the opportunity.